The baby boomers control 80% of financial assets and more than half of all consumer spending. We'll just fast forward past that. And they buy 80% of leisure travel in the Western world. That's 130 million people in the 4 countries and $124 billion worth of spending that they lay into the travel market. So our mission that starts at 60 is to develop powerful, scalable, digital-first businesses addressing this very enormous and rapidly growing digital market. We've built the largest media brand in the baby boomer market. That's consumers engaging every day, building data and affinity. And then we've got the plan to build 3 big scalable transactional businesses, and we're starting in travel, where there's a really logical problem. The problem we're solving is that the baby boomers have time, have flexibility, and they have money. And they can travel at any time, and they want to travel all the time. And the travel operators have latent inventory to spare. They're hungry to move this inventory to people who can buy it outside of peak seasons. So we've built a marketplace, a little like Amazon, with first and third party movement that operators can reach directly through to this consumer on the other side of that marketplace. And just like Amazon did, we're building first party product that allows the value to be really seen by the consumer. How did we get here? We built the biggest media company in Australia in the baby boomer market. 50% of digital users in Australia use our platform every month. We then built a travel marketplace and moved $110 million worth of travel leads in the first 18 months. Then we flipped it on its head so that it could scale consumer revenue first, and have just closed a capital round that will allow us to scale through the Australian market and bring in insurance and aligned products, moving us into finance and health, 2 other important pillars of this market. We're now raising to enter the US market with the same proposition, starting in 5 states and then rolling out nationally. We've got heaps of proof this works. We are the #1 media player in the sector. Media Brand of the Year awards, a community that engages and meets up all over the country every month. The best customers in advertising in the country. We moved $3.2 million worth of revenue from 1.45 million people, and we'll double that revenue in the next year in media. And in travel, we've built that $110 million worth of leads so we know what the generation wants to buy, and now we're working directly with the operators to move the transactions direct. We have, in 6 months since flipping that model on its head before going to marketing with it, have moved $3.7 million worth of revenue at a 12% gross margin. And in Australia, we'll see that get us to $57 million in 3 years with a target of 20%. But in the US, we plan to hit $1 billion worth of run rate TTV in year 5, with a $200 million gross margin target at 20%. And we've got a plan on how we can really make value for the consumer in doing so. We come into a competitive market, yes, but the baby boomer is the latent piece of inventory that nobody really knows how to monetize. And we've worked it out in partnership. And so we see the entry point as working with those competitors as the entry point, and then becoming a really significant player in competition in travel. We've come in with the biggest investors in Australia in our category, the major TV station, and the biggest privately owned insurer. We've got a team of 31 around the country and an amazing executive. And we ask you today to consider our invitation to participate in an $8 to $10 million Series A to enter the US market and grow throughout this region here.